Before we begin, a quick content warning. This episode contains mature conversations about online bullying and harassment, grief and loss, mental health, suicide, and the real-world impact these issues can have on individuals and families. Some of the stories shared are deeply personal and may be difficult for some listeners, parents, and caregivers. This episode also contains mature language and themes. Online bullying and harassment have become one of the most serious challenges affecting vulnerable young people today. Whether you feel this conversation is appropriate for your child is entirely your decision, and we encourage you to use your own discretion. If any part of today's discussion becomes overwhelming, please take care of yourself. Pause the episode, take a break, or come back when you're ready. And if you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out to someone you trust or a qualified mental health professional. Thank you for joining us. Our newest episode is starting now.
Three, two, one.
Ladies and gentlemen, you got your knives out, you got your alibis.
Hey, welcome to the Misfit Collective. I'm your host, Ashley Hennessy. This is a space where you don't just fit in, you stand out. Let's get into it.
I am so beyond honored to welcome our next guest, who is here to speak on the same issues that Opie has been going through herself. This woman has been not only affected firsthand by some of the culprits in this discussion with the bullying campaigns and the hate campaigns against Ophelia, but she's also been a direct victim herself. But I promise you, there's no taking this woman down. She is a beast of a person. She is a magnificent human, and she is known for social justice all over TikTok and every other platform. Welcome in, LadyG. How are you doing today?
How are y'all doing?
Good. I'm so glad to have you. We got to speak a couple of times the last few weeks, and I just there was so much I didn't realize I didn't know about you at the time, and I just got to say, the more I got to know about you, the more I fell in love with you. So I'm really honored to have you here speaking on these issues, and I know that you're passionate about social justice. So I think this is right up your alley, and I can't wait to see where this takes you from here, because I know you were talking to me about some cool ventures that you might be exploring in the near future. So we'll touch base on that in a minute. But first off, can you kind of tell everybody who you are, what you're known for, how you know Ophelia, how y'all met?
My name is Lady Guinevere 75. I am a social justice advocate. I've been doing it for quite a few decades now. And I met Ophelia, it's kind of a funny story, on TikTok. I had seen a video. I was a follower of hers, still am. And she had an amazing pair of Pride shoes on. They were Katy Perry shoes with the rainbow on the side. And I saw them and I had commented, I love those shoes. Those shoes are amazing. And I think I even DM'd her and said, oh, where did you get those shoes? I really want them. And I think Ophelia was like, asked me, what size are you? And I said I was a size 7. And then I think, if I remember correctly, I think she played it off like she didn't know where she got them. I can't remember exactly how it went, but the next thing I know, I got this package in the mail from Ophelia, from Mama Tot, and it was those shoes. And that's how I met Ophelia.
That is a wholesome story if I've ever heard one. I think I remember right around that time that somebody was asking about him. I think a lot of people were kind of curious about him. I didn't know that's how y'all met. What a cool interaction to have with somebody. Were y'all just mutuals at the time? Y'all hadn't really direct conversations.
Co-creators on the same platform. Yeah,
that's rad. What a cool thing to do for somebody. I'm sure you appreciate. Do you still have them?
I do. I still have them to this day.
Heck yeah. Wear them to every Pride event you can. So tell me exactly what your involvement was when all of this stuff started with Ophelia online. I'm sure it was pretty hard for you to just have to sit back and watch it first. But if I know anything about you, you don't sit back very long. You're the first one to jump in head first and come to someone's defense if you feel like someone's been wronged.
I am, and I do. How it all started was I saw Ophelia at the shoe thing happened. Ophelia and I became mutuals, and we exchanged, numbers and became friends. We're not close friends, but we became friends. And I sat back and I was watching Ophelia. I was watching what was going on, but I stayed out of it because I had no dog in the race. And then the person that was attacking Ophelia, Charles Ressler, brought a racist spin into it. And started making racist comments or I'd say started saying racist things. And when that happened, I was just, and that's when I got involved. I was like, no. And so that's when I got involved.
When you say you're talking about like this bullying wave that came out of nowhere, seemingly, I mean, in my opinion, I watched it unfold in real time and it was just like, where the hell did this come from? Who were you referring to? Who started the racist stuff inside of this narrative? Like, who are we talking about here?
Well, you got to take it back to the beginning of the bullying started because Ophelia did not respond to Charles Ressler fast enough. Point blank, that's it. She just didn't respond fast enough. Charles Ressler felt entitled to her platform. And instead of him waiting and just, taking a moment and just letting Ophelia do what, she needed to do to vet him. And when I say vet, what I mean by that is to make sure he's on the up and up. And I would do the same thing. I'm not going to hand my platform off to anybody. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to dig up their butt and make sure that they're good people before I hand you to people that I love, which is my followers. I have a due diligence to protect them. And so that's what Ophelia was doing. And Charles Ressler, this had happened around the time that Ophelia had tragically lost her baby child, Randon. And unfortunately, Charles Ressler did not want to wait and felt that Ophelia was blowing him off. And that started the campaign from Charles Ressler against Ophelia. Ophelia did nothing wrong, didn't say anything nasty. And for the longest time, she just sat silent and said nothing and endured, the abuse and the lies for a long, long time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think I think the hardest part about sitting there and watching all of that unfold was watching them getting very pushy and catty, if you will. Like the whole, we all know I've shown you a lot of grace.
Grace, it's her platform.
Excuse you? Like, who died and made you God? But it was that mentality. And I was like, something's going on with this person, because there's some screws loose, or there is some sort of alternate universe in which they think that was a cool thing to do to a grieving mother.
My favorite comment that he made was that I made DreamMaker and this. No, you didn't. You stole DreamMaker from Richard Simmons. It was Richard Simmons who did DreamMaker.
Are you kidding me?
No, look up DreamMaker, Richard Simmons. The entire concept was done by Richard Simmons. The only thing Charles Ressler did was took it to the computer. Richard Simmons started DreamMaker decades ago, and it was where other people were fulfilling the wishes of other people. Look it up. Google it.
I'm doing that as we speak.
DreamMakers. Yep. All Charles Ressler did was bring it to a computer. And even then, I believe that Richard Simmons had it on the computer for a little while there. But I could be wrong about that.
Let's look.
Yeah, Richard Simmons DreamMaker. Crazy, isn't it?
What? This was a TV show.
Yeah, he stole it from Richard Simmons. Yes, and other people didn't know that. DreamMaker, the name wasn't even original. He stole the name DreamMaker.
Listen to this, y'all. First episode aired on September 20th of 1999. The latest episode was episode 16. It had Richard Simmons, Rick Springfield, Joey McIntyre from, what was it, New Kids on the Block? Jason David Frank.
R.I.P. man. I love this guy. I met him so many times in person here in Houston. He was our Green Ranger. There were several celebrities that were involved with this. This was a concept that he put on television.
Where he was the talk show host. I just locked my mic cover.
He
was a talk show host, and they granted the wishes of other people.
You've got to be kidding me.
No, hang on. I'll give you the AI overview. I just pulled it up. The AI overview says, DreamMaker Richard Simmons refers to the 1999 talk show Richard Simmons' DreamMaker, where the fitness guru helped grant wishes for people. The show featured segments where Simmons and guests like Rosie O'Donnell and Danny Bonaducci help fulfill the audience's dreams, such as new cars, meeting celebrities, and dream vacations. The series, also known as just DreamMaker, ran for one season and is available on all streaming services such as Tubi and Apple TV. DreamMaker was...
Oh my God. You can't make this shit up.
He stole DreamMaker from Richard Simmons.
Who the hell does that and then tries to act like it's their original idea? Like, we're gonna find out, bro.
He didn't even change the name, Ashley. He got the name. The concept, the name, it was the only thing he did differently was he brought it to social media applications. That was it. So going back to that, the racist thing that he did, there was an episode where Charles Ressler had this group called the Neon Ribbon Brigade. And I do not hold them liable for any of this because they were so duped it wasn't even funny. The poor people in the Neon Ribbon Brigade didn't know whether they were coming or going. And that's exactly what Charles wanted. He wanted to keep people like, what? Not knowing what was really going on. And one of the people in the Neon Ribbon Brigade was a young man named Ivan. And Ivan is a very sweet soul, but he's also very vulnerable because he has been fighting a very long battle with addiction. He's very open about that, and it's been a very brutal battle. And I'm extremely proud of Ivan, of the fact that we still have Ivan today, because it has been a long road.
Me too.
So, Ivan, if you're listening, super proud of you, bud. But what I have noticed is that Charles Ressler preys on people's vulnerability. And he knew that Ivan was desperate for companionship, for friendship, and Charles Ressler zeroed right in on that and would get Ivan upset or, distraught over things Ressler was telling him. Ivan didn't learn until later that Charles was lying to him, but he would manipulate Ivan. And on one of the instances where he had manipulated Ivan, Ivan lost his mind and said some very racist things and completely inappropriate, out of pocket. And that's how I got involved. Because when I heard that, I shot a video back to Ivan, checking him 7 ways to Sunday, saying, oh, no. And when that happened, Ivan, of course, was upset because he was like, I'm not a racist. I didn't mean it that way. And Charles Ressler and somewhere I believe we have this video, he's sitting there and he goes, Ivan, girl from Casino was right. You are a leader in the Neon Ribbon Brigade. Oh, I got to do the smile. Hang on. Ivan, girl from Casino is right. You are a leader in the Neon Ribbon Brigade. And he's talking to Ivan and he tells Ivan basically, and this is a nutshell, don't worry about all those racist things you said because people will forgive you or they'll either forget or they'll forgive you. That's not verbatim. That's summing it up. And I was like, what? So go ahead and be racist. You get a pass?
Like, since when? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Wow. What an individual.
Yep. Go ahead, be racist. It's okay. We'll forgive you. We'll make a pass. You didn't mean it.
And poor Ivan probably had no freaking clue what he was talking about. And we don't have to repeat it. I'm sure that'll come out eventually, like if Ivan wants to talk about it in his interview. But that's what upset me the most was I started realizing some patterns within this individual on the people he was targeting. And it took me some time to get there to realize who he was seeking out to take advantage of and prey on. And
hammered in on the addiction community.
All in on the recovery community.
All in. Yep.
How sick and twisted do you have to be to try to jeopardize somebody's recovery? That's my problem. These people fight every day to choose life. And you come in and you think that you're worthy of compromising that?
And that's part of the reason that set me off, Ash, is because I have been on this app for a long time. Shortly after the app launched, I went on the app. I didn't publicly speak for, I think, 2 or 3 years, but I was on the app fairly quickly once it became TikTok. Something that bothers me the most is I have seen some horror stories on this app. And I remember, I think it was back in 2020 or 2021, 2021. It was 2021. The end of 2021 had 7 people unalive themselves in like a period of 4 or 5 days from bullying.
On TikTok?
TikTok content creators, yes, unalive themselves in a period of a week. 7. It was off the charts because of bullying. Bullying in lives, bullying, just harassing people's family members, doxing, all of these things. And that is one of the things that really got to me about this, is because Mama Tot was going through an unimaginable tragedy. I am a mother. I could not, what that woman went through. I could not. I know I couldn't.
And still stand up today.
And still stay on your platform and still keep going while you're being relentlessly bullied based on lies. Thousands of people calling you out, and it was all lies. So I just, you never know someone's mental state. And I learned that. And one of the stories that I'll share with you is back in 2021, there was a content creator, and she was an amazing woman. She never got involved in drama. She just, stayed on her channel. And if you followed her, great. If you didn't, it's okay. She stayed to herself. She used to put on like dragon horns and different things, flowers. I'm going to tear up talking about this. She was the sweetest lady. And the trolls, she was, heavy set. And the trolls were relentless. I never cared about her weight. I thought she was beautiful. She was, inside and out. I didn't care.
I know
But
who
the
you're talking
trolls-
about.
Yeah, the trolls would come in relentlessly and tell her things like she needed to unalive herself, and she needed to do this, and she needed to do that. It was horrible. And one night she went on live and she yells into the camera at TikTok. She's yelling at TikTok. And she was like, the trolls are winning and you're letting them. She ends the live, gets off, and takes her life. And
Are you kidding me?
I'm dead serious. And that was the wake up call for me, that if I ever see somebody being relentlessly bullied. Now, a lot of people say to me, but Gwen, you make videos to people. There is a difference between accountability and bullying. Accountability is if I make 1 or 2 videos calling you out for a wrong you have done, and I say, hey, you did this, don't do that, or maybe I'll make a funny video. That's accountability. If I make 15 videos picking on your looks, your hair, your weight, that is bullying. And there's 2 different things here.
There's one that has innocence, and that's the bullying. The innocent person is the victim who did nothing to entice that behavior towards them. The
Correct.
other means you have done something wrong and need to answer or have consequence for the action that you did that was wrong. It's very simple
And
there.
Ophelia did nothing wrong.
Correct.
Nothing wrong. She
Yeah.
just didn't move fast enough. And it got so bad that Ressler linked up with my stalker, and then they started this whole thing where they were, it was bad.
You have a stalker.
And yes, I have a stalker of years that makes multiple accounts, fake accounts, will talk to anybody and everybody about me and try to fill their heads with lies, has said horrific things about me, has posted things to make it look like I did things I didn't, has even went and made, and I shouldn't say this because I cannot confirm it was a person. I very strongly believe it was, made a false LinkedIn profile, called the college I went to, and tried to have the degree that I got decades ago revoked. I mean,
Are you kidding me?
oh no, relentlessly stalking me. Relentless. To the point where they would go in people's DMs that would follow me, and they would hide in my follower list as another follower. And then if somebody like commented something, they would go into their DMs and be like, LadyG, da 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 da. The guy, Lord help me. And all because I said to him, no, I do not agree with you. That was all I said. No, I do not agree with you. And it started a war. This person was fighting with another one of my friends. I did not agree with him. I took the other friend's side. First, I tried to stay neutral, but the person, my stalker, forced it and forced it and forced it to the point where, okay, now you've made me decide, but my decision is not you. And then that was it. The minute I said, no, I don't agree with you, the stalking began. And then Ressler got involved with my stalker, and it was just a big nightmare. But I don't think that Charles is mentally well. I think there's a mental health element here. And I think that if Charles Ressler got the mental help and got worked through whatever he was going through, if he launched, and I've said this 100 times, if he launched DreamMaker tomorrow, I would ride with him. The concept is beautiful. What he was doing was beautiful. But to strong arm people and torture people into doing what you want, no, couldn't get behind.
I can't believe that this is going to end up coming down to a greater discussion about mental health. Honestly, in my opinion, it's almost like if people are that unhinged and cannot practice self-governance, like people who can't say anything without trolling somebody or saying a negative comment. Like, it is so simple to just take your thumb against your screen and swipe up and move past that creator if you're not into it. Why in the hell do people have to, number one, leave hateful comments? Like, what the fuck does that do for anybody? Nothing. But then this stalker situation, I mean, like, do we have to start with firearms now? Do we have to start having this discussion about you need to be able to pass a freaking background check or a mental health examination before you get internet access?
In my opinion, that's where we're headed. Because
it's absurd.
The sad thing is the laws, and I tried to get a restraining order on this stalker. This stalker made hundreds of videos. I have all of them. I tried to get a restraining order. It was not granted because this person does not reside in my state. So an emergency protection order was not granted. And I took it all the way. Oh yeah. He's doxed me 20, 30 times, which doxing is supposed to get you an emergency protection order, according to the attorneys. I have spoken to 2 or 3 attorneys since then, and they were like, what judge was this? Because if he publicly doxed you, he can be held accountable for cyberstalking.
Correct.
But apparently the judge that didn't have a lawyer. I went there myself. Had I had a lawyer, I would have known that they would have got him on cyberstalking, and it would have been a much bigger thing. At that time, I did not know that if someone doxes your information, it's considered cyberstalking. This person posted my address and stuff and claimed that they got it off my Facebook, which was a lie because my address was never on my Facebook. And my Facebook, when I first got on TikTok, it was open. I didn't close my Facebook. And the reason why my Facebook is the one thing that's for my family. The one social media, I have a LadyG Facebook, but this particular Facebook was my personal Facebook. And that's, my kids, my grandkids, things like that. And so when I first got on TikTok, before I got schooled by the trolls and the stalkers, I had my Facebook wide open. But I did very quickly close and private my Facebook. This person is claiming that they got this information off my Facebook, which is inaccurate because my actual street address and house number was never on my Facebook, only the city I lived in. Even when it was open, only the city I lived in was on my Facebook.
Gotcha.
This person did a background check, got my information, and this person has done FOIA requests for other. I mean, my stalker. There are over 40 women that are victims to this same stalker. One of these women, he posted a picture of her half-naked minor child.
What?
No, I'm not kidding you. He posted it out
That's
for
a
the
federal
world to see.
offense.
Her half-naked minor child.
That is a
He
federal
also-
offense.
She had a stepchild that passed away by getting hit by a train. It was a terrible tragedy. He made videos, you know that song that goes, choo choo, come on, ride the train and ride it. He made videos where like, and in his face, it's like manically like,
Give
like-
me that sick mother name. I promise you.
I
That
will,
is one thing
will.
I do not mess with.
And I have all of this stuff. I have all of this.
Well, guess I have some resources for you, just like I did for Opie, and they actually got her some results. So regardless of what state that guy's in, that is a federal offense. That is child predator bullshit.
The only reason he got away with it is because she lives in Canada. But it's a big long, it's crazy, but yeah. So, back to the whole, when this was going on, I had left TikTok multiple times because I couldn't handle it. I would have to take month-long breaks because I could not handle the psychological torture that this person had put me through. No, if they came back tomorrow, I wouldn't care because I got therapy and now I'm like, I'm like, okay, whatever. Because I had to learn I can't control this person, but it really did a number on me because I'm a people pleaser. And I was like, I don't understand just telling someone, no, I don't agree with you. And this is the chaos I get. But, you never know what someone's going through mentally. And it was very hard for me to handle all of this. It was very hard for me to go through. A lot of people believed these lies. People that I loved, followers that I thought the world of believed this. And I got really depressed. Eventually they started to realize, okay, this person's not all there. And eventually they started coming back and like, hey, we're sorry. After several of them became victims as well. But it all comes back to bullying, mental health, things like that. You never know where someone is. And what Ophelia went through was I'll say 1,000 times worse than what I went through because this happened to me when I was at like 400,000. Ophelia was at 11 million. So I can't even imagine the abuse this woman was taking daily over over lies, just lies. And even now, like, okay, let's look at what Ophelia went through recently. There was a whole big thing that came up recently where people were saying, Ophelia's a Republican, she's got this platform and she said this and she said that. The Facebook profile that everybody was claiming was Ophelia's was not Ophelia's. And we know because we had some pretty good cyber people.
Can I explain to you that half of that stuff that's been posted with her personal information is not the same person as her?
Yeah. It's I have those two people that make LadyG accounts that these accounts weren't her.
The criminal records, quote unquote, that they try to pull up on Ophelia. I'm like, it clearly tells you that woman is not Caucasian. And you are bundling Ophelia, our Opie, with a woman that she doesn't even know. She's never even crossed paths with. Like, that person lives in Alabama, I'm sure, or did at one point. But, like, this is how misinformed, how easily the public is so manipulated. And that's what I told people on, during the recording of this episode with the podcast with Opie is like, we have a social responsibility to not only not look like jackasses ourselves, right? Because that's embarrassing. People repost information so quickly and they don't vet the facts. They just take whatever certain content creators or influencers will say.
Was that her husband had a Trump sticker on his truck, which no.
Idiot.
He's
No.
never had a Trump sticker.
No.
Never. He's never had a Trump sticker on his truck.
What the? Anyway, but like, it's just people are so quick to just jump on a bandwagon. And for the smarter, younger Gen Z kids that are like up and coming behind some of us, you ruin how intelligent you seem to be when you are so quick to share information that is inaccurate or it's false or it's harming to somebody. Like, it ruins this image that y'all are this up and coming like honey badger, you know, like take life by the balls, say give no shits, and I'm gonna never back down. That's something to be proud of. But when you're doing that and it harms people, like, you know, we have to slow down. But I think that where the problem starts at is where your friend, who sadly lost her life to people trolling her on relentlessly. I remember that happening. I remember her face. I will never forget that woman's face for as long as I live. I will never forget how it felt to come across your video the next day and have to find out that she had.
Our family, you're still in my thoughts and prayers. I love you. And I speak on behalf of over half of TikTok when I tell you that we love you all. We love your family and we miss her dearly. Shout out to her family. It was a senseless tragedy. There was no reason for it.
I don't understand it. I don't understand how people could push somebody to want to do that. Like, if there was anybody that was guilty in that, I hope one day, like, you understand that it's not us that's going to give you the karma. You get out of the universe what you put into it, you know?
Yeah, karma's coming from the other side.
And that's just like a natural course of like events amongst energy of all kinds. I have to preface that with, like, I'm going to warn people. It will come back to you, and you don't know how, but it will come back to you in the worst way when you need it to. That big promotion you've been busting your ass for every quarter, every time some performance reviews let in, and you're looking for this raise because it'd be the biggest break ever, and you're breaking your back, you're spending time away from your kids. I hope that it gets passed off to an intern if that's how you conduct yourself on the internet. Like, that is
horrific.
Nobody. There is no human life that is more valuable than the other.
And the hard part was it was the 7th one that week. And there's a video of me. I don't know if it's still, it should still be on my platform, but all I can do is look at the camera and I'm just so shocked. And all I say is 7. We just had number 7. This is our 7th one this week. And that's all I say because I'm so speechless that 7 in 1 week over bullying.
You talked to me about something pretty heavy about that 7 in that week. On top of the woman that we were just discussing, the creator that ended up taking her own life, you told me that you wanted to have a pretty difficult discussion regarding another life that was lost that week.
Yes, and there was a young man. I'm not sure. I believe he was young. I think it was 12, 13, 14. He was young. I know he was at 8th grade. So yeah, about 12 to 14. Very young. And he had been being bullied in school, but then they would come home and bully him online. So he would go to school, get bullied, and then they would come home and he would be bullied on his devices. He would go on live and stuff, and people would leave messages in his lives when he would say, I just want to end it all. They would be like, do it, but do it on live.
Excuse me, fucking what?
No, that's what they would say. In his live, they would be like, yeah, do it, but do it on live. I want to watch.
You've got to be shitting me.
Do it on live. I'm dead serious. This really happened in 2021. And so it was a huge thing. I don't know if there's anyone in the audience that remembers this. It was, I think, the end of 2020, the beginning of 2021, but he actually did it on live. He set his phone up, was in his bedroom, took his life by hanging himself, and then while the live is still running and all of us are frantically trying to get a hold of 911, we're in the, does anybody know this kid? Where does he live? We're typing for it fiercely. I guess somebody realized who he was, called the police. We're still trying to get info. We're tagging TikTok. As you hear the police, ma'am, open up, and the mom, you can hear the muffled, like, it sounded like, hello, yes, my son is upstairs in his room. No, it couldn't be my son. He's upstairs in his room. And then the next thing you see is her opening the door and going, and then she goes, oh God. And the police just run. And that's when TikTok cut the feed.
That's when they cut the feed?
Yep, that's when they cut the feed. Yep. And to anybody who remembers that, it was either the beginning of 2021, it might have been the end of 2020. It was either 2021 or 2020. It was very, very new. That's why there's now that drag on live. You got that 30-second drag. Yep, it happened on live, and there were several of them that year. Yep, it was horrible.
You
Horrible.
said that there were people encouraging him to do this so that they could fucking watch?
And they were commenting, do it on live. Do it on live.
I have a few things to say.
People
those-
from all over the world were encouraging this.
I'd never wish ill on anyone, right? But I'm gonna take a second to say something abundantly clear so that I am never mistaken or misheard when I say this. To the people that were in that fucking live that encouraged a 12-year-old baby to take his own life so that you sick sons of bitches could watch, I hope the seventh circle of hell is reserved with your name on it. How
Agreed.
dare you? That's a baby. The mother just lost her kid because of that. Who the fuck does that?
It was disgusting. Hundreds of people. It wasn't just one. It was awful. People encouraging it. It was awful. And so I see this and I try to say to people, you don't know what someone is going through. You don't know what mental frame they're in. Your comment or your whatever may be the one thing that finally cracks and sends them over the edge. If you don't have anything to say, damn it, just swipe. You don't always have to be an asshole.
Like, no one, like, do you know how much energy it takes and how much time that takes just to be a dickhead to somebody on the fucking internet? Like, but what good do you get out of it? Like, what purpose does that serve? What's your end goal here? That's my question to these people is, what is your goal? You think that hurting people makes you feel better? You're still miserable. Why do that?
I could never understand.
Who the fuck could? Who was mentally stable? This is my point, is like where my heart and my soul and my mind cannot comprehend how somebody gets there as a human being, as a soul, how you get so full of hate towards a complete stranger just doing their thing, living their best life. But let me be abundantly fucking clear here. There is the miracle that we are born as we are, right? As individual people. I am different than you. You are entirely yourself. I am entirely myself. The fact that the chance that we were the one in however billion chances that we get to live this life is a miracle all on its own. That's exceptional. But like, you don't get to tell somebody to take their own life or encourage them to do that. They got this chance just like you did, and they deserve that chance to live too. Who the hell are these people? Like, lock them all up as far as I'm considered and throw away the key. Keep them away from our kids, keep them away from our schools, keep them out of, like, and this is what's insane to me, LadyG, is that there are people like this that are walking into offices next to you and I, sitting next to us at a cubicle, and you have no fucking idea the dark shit that they do when they go home.
These keyboard warriors that hide behind a computer screen and destroy lives. Just destroy lives. And this is, bringing it back to Opie. Look at, this woman just lost her child and people are coming for her left and right, saying statements like, Ophelia always has to have the token gay person. What? Ophelia is friends with a lot of people from the LGBTQI plus community. What does that mean, the token? And what it does is, because Ophelia is the kind of person that she doesn't want to hurt anybody or make anybody believe that any of that's true. So now Ophelia is going to be like, well, maybe I shouldn't just ever get close to anybody from that community or have them up on my, or maybe she feels like maybe I shouldn't have them up on my page because I don't want to be seen that way. That's not true. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And they literally back this woman into a corner where she cannot come out. Here's a prime example. And I'm a political content creator. This is all I do, but this is a prime example. Ophelia, you need to publicly say whether you're Democrat or Republican. Now, Ophelia has openly said what she is. There should be no question. There are gay people all over her platform. Ophelia is, by putting gay people on her platform, She is openly saying, I support the LGBTQI.
She's telling you who she is.
By attending Pride events,
Yes.
she is telling you who the hell she is.
Exactly.
So, putting pride all over her. Okay, you have to say it. You have to say you stand with us.
For what?
As
It's
a
obvious.
bisexual woman, why?
I
Now,
don't see the
here's
point.
Right. I didn't either. But here's where it gets strange. Let's say she does. Let's say she comes out and she says, I stand with the Democrats. Well, then all the Republicans are going to be pissed at her. But let's play devil's advocate. No. I stand with the Republicans. Well, now all the Democrats are mad at her. And if she says, listen, I'm not a political content creator, which she's not, I'd rather not answer that. I just want to, no, then you're bad. Then you're bad. Even Taylor Swift, you are fucking rotten and you must be destroyed. That woman's back. That is what you call putting someone to where they have nowhere to fucking turn. Because you have slammed her to where any direction she goes, it's wrong. If she says yes to the Republicans, well, then she's screwed. She says yes to the Democrats, then she's screwed. And if she says, hey, listen, I'm not a political content creator, not addressing that, well, now you're pissed that she won't even address it. And if she does address it and say, I'm for the Pride community, well, then she cannot win. She cannot win. People are just looking for a reason to cancel her, and that's it. That's it. They're just looking for bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Floridians call hunting for an alligator. And what we mean when we say hunting for an alligator is you can drive by a pond 1,000 times and never see an alligator, even though there's one in the dead center of that pond looking right at you with its whole little body at the top of the water just vibrating. But you don't see him because you're not looking. But the next 20 times, because you know that gator's there, you're going to look and you're going to see him every time. That's what looking for an alligator is. You're looking for a problem, you're going to find one. People want a reason to cancel her, they're going to try to find one.
For fucking what is my question? Like, does it piss you off that she's like her strength and resilience and like her mental fortitude and her emotional withstanding of abuse? Like, is that like it should be studied? Like, because that woman's perseverance alone, her strength alone should be studied. And I think the world would be a lot better of a place if people practiced how she walks her walk. Even if they just practice. I didn't say they had to perfect it, just practice it.
Yeah. And I don't want to sound like I'm, I don't think, do I think Ophelia's never, ever done anything wrong? No, I'm quite certain she
We're
has.
human.
Don't get me wrong. Right. Everybody's done something. Do I feel that she deserves the heaping of crap that consistently gets piled upon her? No. And I think people seek her out just like they seek out people like Michaela Noriega. They become, and it's almost like their platforms are a big target. It puts a target on their back. Because as soon as you get that big platform, you have a target and people want to, that's it. You're just a walking target. And it's very sad. I love Michaela. I think Michaela's wonderful. And again, do I think Michaela's never done anything wrong? No, but I don't think Michaela deserves an ounce of the hate she gets. And I do not, and again, you never know what someone's going through.
Correct.
Shut your mouth. And if you don't like the content creator, don't follow them. Move on.
Very simple.
Okay. Yeah, there's other creators that do the job of commenting. They do videos on commenting on creators. If you don't like her, just move on. It's not your thing.
It's like for people, you guys do realize, right, that you have the control over your own algorithm and you can hit block or I'm not interested. And it's that simple. You don't have to see it if you don't want to. So that to me makes more sense than going and like inserting your nose in people's business. Like people forget content creators, no matter how big they're following, we are normal people at the end of the day. We are normal human beings. We have duties around the house that we got to take care of and obligations to friends and family and jobs. And we have other things. You go like, unless somebody has been blatantly disgusting. And I am talking about like the woman who was at the Dodgers game the other day, splurging about calling ICE. She lost her job, rightfully so. That's not funny. And ICE is becoming a problem now in my area specifically. Fuck ICE. Period. I said it with my whole chest.
Yeah.
Okay? In case anybody.
Say this. Fuck ICE.
Fuck
I am
ICE.
Antifa. You're looking for Antifa. I'm right here, bitch. I am Antifa. I'm
Jesus
the whole fucking
Christ.
thing. Come and get me.
But like they're
The
down,
funny thing
they're
is-
in my hometown right now. They're in my hometown. And I'm like, I'm looking at everything and my folks voted fucking Republican. I'm a black sheep in my family. I'm okay with that. I realize that I'm surrounded by a sea of red, but I kind of had to give my dad a double take the other day. And I said, you know, your father, my grandfather came here from Mexico as an immigrant. He married my grandmother. They were pen pal lovers who fell in love, and then he moved here and he became a United States citizen. Do you think that they would give a single shit about that now? They
No,
lock
in fact,
him
they're
up.
trying to pass a law where they want to take out their kids, take the generation.
Well, that
take
would
their
screw
kids.
all of our family. So
Yeah, yeah. But here's what's crazy. MAGA, you're literally listening to the guy whose wife is an immigrant. Both his wife, and both of those women had anchor babies to stay here.
I would gladly sacrifice myself just to say,
Yeah.
hey, if I had to be deported, you know, out of here, but like my parents, that includes you too, bro. If all of our families had to get shipped out of here, first of all, you have to realize, like, a lot of these people can't be reasoned with, right? Sadly, we are immigrants, all of us. It doesn't matter if you were born here or if you were brought in and you're a child of an immigrant and an American citizen. We all are immigrants because we are not native, indigenous people to this land.
We're living on stolen land, people.
Did I lose you there? Oh, there it goes.
Yeah. We're living on stolen land, people.
Yeah. And I'm just like, it's so simple of a concept to understand. But like,
No.
I was like, Dad, you do realize that my grandfather would have been arrested regardless. Come on.
Yeah, he was getting arrested. He was just getting arrested on that. But you got to remember the mindset we're dealing with. When I'm screaming things like I am Antifa, Antifa is not an organization, and they're insisting that it is. There are people. Yes, there are people.
Do they even know what it
The
means?
Trump administration did an entire video on this. Go to my page after this and look. They did an entire video, and people are on there going, I know Antifa. I've seen them.
Anti-fascist?
Antifa stands for anti-fascist. It's an
Just so we're clear.
ideology.
Yes.
There's no organization. There's no head of anything. There's no group. And they're like, oh yeah. And you can clearly tell these people. And for some reason, the maggots are buying this. They're like, oh yeah. Antifa's bad. It's bad. There is no Antifa.
We are not
It's just an
QAnon.
ideology.
We're not
Right.
QAnon.
QAnon is bad. That's
Correct.
bad. They actually created an insurrection. Antifa doesn't exist. There's no organization. It's a joke. But this is the mindset of the people we're dealing with. They believe there's this whole underground Antifa organization. No, it's just actual human.
People saying no, we are opposing
Right.
against this ideology.
Normal people. And the
Yeah.
sad thing is, they're only hurting their cause because the more and more people that are starting to be like, huh, this is the more people they're losing by their own craziness. So keep it up because y'all are doing great.
Let
Your
them
numbers are
bury
dwindling.
themselves.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
care.
down to 32% on an approval rate this week.
Yeah,
32% approval rate on Trump this week.
that's impressive.
Yeah, no president in history has ever gotten that low.
But somehow he'll twist that and make it a badge of honor, I'm sure. Just to kind of circle back to this entire conversation of a variety of topics. I hope everybody understands that this is a podcast that is ADHD fueled and there's no topic that I won't talk about. So I hope that's okay with everybody. We go all over the place, but to circle back around to what we were getting at the heart at, what is this message that you would take to every user on TikTok? If you could have a moment to have a space to really say what you want to say, I'd like to offer that.
2020, the app was something like I'd never seen before. It was a time where the world had to come together because it had shut down. I've seen some amazing things happen on this app. I have seen people get, groceries sent from across the country because their family had COVID and they couldn't go to a grocery store. I've seen people that were in the hospital with COVID raise money so their people could stay in hotels to be closer to them. I've seen some amazing things. I've seen kidneys get donated. I have seen some amazing things in 2020 and 2021, but 2022, mid 2022, something started to go wrong on this app. The love started to go away as people went back into their lives. And so the one thing that I would like to see is for people to try to put the hate away and bring the love back, and not just on the app, but in your everyday life. I want people to remember it costs absolutely nothing to be kind. And just because it's not something you would want in your home doesn't mean you have to be nasty about it or, make a big scene or whatever. It's just something that isn't for you, and that's okay. Keep moving along. It costs nothing to give someone a smile. And trust me when I tell you, it can mean the difference so much. And I'll tell a quick story. One of my children had a brain tumor and they were in the Mayo Clinic, and I went to the Mayo Clinic to be with them. And I had one of the worst days of my life. Seeing my child with their head just all in stitches, it was horrible. And it was one of the worst days I've ever had as a parent. And I was coming out of the hospital to head back, and I was sobbing, and it was one of the worst days. And a woman walking across the lobby, I'll never forget this. I was a mess. I was a wreck. I was sobbing. And a woman walking across the lobby just looked up and she saw me crying and she smiled. Just smile. That was it. She just smiled. And all of a sudden, that smile was like, hey, I'm going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You, in that mind frame, in that moment, and this is a true story, in that mind frame, in that moment, that smile let me know, hey, you're okay. You never know how much the person on the other end just needs that smile.
Mhm.
So a lot less hate, a whole lot more love. That's what the message I want to give. Stop trying to cancel everybody. Not everybody needs to be canceled. Just
We're losing the plot.
Yeah, we're losing the plot. And hey, we all need someone like Mama Tot in our lives. That woman does a lot of good, whether you love her or hate her. I've seen that woman change life after life after life, donate dollar after dollar after dollar, trying to help people. That woman is just amazing in the things she does. And again, for all you, I'm not saying Mama Tot's a saint, but
She's damn near close.
I was going to say, I haven't seen her do anything that would even make me remotely look sideways at her. So, and in my book, yeah, like you said, she's damn near close. So that's the message I want to give. And thank you so much, Ashley, for having me on. I'm incredibly grateful. And as I always end my lives, I like to say, until next time, be kind to yourselves, be kind to one another. It costs nothing.
We love you, Lady G. Thanks for being here.
Anytime. Take care.
Y'all have a good night. Thanks for being a part of the collective. If something in today's conversation challenged you, inspired you, or simply acted as a reminder that you are not alone, then this episode did exactly what it was meant to do. If you know somebody who needs to hear this conversation, please feel free to share it. One conversation can change a life. Watch our next episode, subscribe, and then follow us at the Misfit Pod across all social media platforms, because the best conversations are the ones that we're about to have. And hey, if you enjoyed the music featured in today's episode, please consider following us, the band Hennessy, wherever you stream music. Every single stream, follow, share, and playlist that you add our music to helps keep independent creators creating, and it helps us make this podcast possible. Thank you for supporting what we do. Until next time, stay weird. Don't fit in, stand out.